Chapter 14. Mother's First Talk, the Female Form. You have been told God's plans in bringing all the little fish, plants, birds, animals, and human babies into the world. You have enjoyed all these stories. We have not gone into detail in these talks. When you are older, if you desire, you can study the laws of life more thoroughly. We have tried to satisfy your inquiring mind and lead you to see that God's laws of increasing life are pure and sacred. All these years you have been a little girl. You have been growing larger and wiser all the time. You have worn short dresses, loved your dolls, played with little boys and girls. You have been innocent, free from care, jolly, and happy. You will be a girl for several years to come. You should not be in a hurry to get away from the joys, pleasures, and ways of girlhood. However, God has not planned for you to be a girl always. He has wisely planned for you to grow and change in body and mind from a girl into a woman, that you may someday be a mother. A review. In previous talks, we found that every little baby plant and animal had a father and a mother. We found that the pollen produced by the small organs of the flower had to unite with the seed formed by the mother organs before a little plant could come into the world. We found among the animals that little eggs were formed by organs in the mother's body, called ovaries, just as seed are formed by ovaries in the flowers. We also found that these little eggs formed by the mother organs could not become baby animals without the union of a life-giving substance from the father animals. In the higher animals, where the mother nurses her young with milk formed by the mother's breasts, we find many resemblances to the lower animals, with some very interesting additions to the reproductive organs. Among some of the lower animals, such, for example, as mussels and fish, no provision is made to nourish and feed their young. Some, such as the bee, store up food in cells, while still others, such as the bird, provide food for the young for some days after they are hatched. Mothers of the higher animals and man. In the higher animals, the mother supplies her young with food for weeks or months after they are born, by means of organs called breasts or udders. These organs are not found among the lower animals. They are vitally associated with, and therefore a part of, the female organs of sex of the higher animals and man. How mothers in the lower and higher forms of life differ. Among the higher animals, the eggs are formed by ovaries, just as in the case of plants and the lower animals. Here we find another important addition to the female organs of sex. As soon as the egg is formed by the ovary, it passes, by means of a duct called the fallopian tube, into a pear-shaped vessel called the uterus, or womb. Here, if the egg is fertilized by the male substance, it becomes attached to the wall of the womb. At this point of the womb, a cord is formed containing a vein and artery called the placenta. The placenta connects with the body of the young at a point called the navel. The forming young receives its air, food, and life through the cord from the mother's blood. There is a very close resemblance between the creative organs and their functions in the higher animals and man. We cannot become fathers and mothers without these special organs of sex. The essential female organs of sex. These consist of ovaries, oviducts, womb, vagina, and breasts. All these organs, except the breasts, are on the inside of the body, in the lower part of the abdomen. In a mature woman, the ovaries, 2 in number, are small almond-shaped glands just below the navel and are 4 or 5 inches apart, one located in the left side of the body and the other in the right. The ovaries are enveloped in a broad, thin, strong membrane and connect with the upper part of the womb by slender cords called oviducts. Location and function of the ovaries. There takes place in every girl, when she is from 12 to 15, a remarkable change called puberty or adolescence. From this time on, until she is 40 to 45 years old, there will be formed in one of the ovaries every 4 weeks a tiny egg, or ovum. The ovum is less than 1/120th of an inch in diameter. When this little egg breaks through the membrane of the ovary, it would drop down into the cavity of the body were it not for a most wonderful provision. The oviducts, or as they are often called, the fallopian tubes, are ducts connected with the upper part of the womb, are 3 inches in length and have finger-like ends. When the little egg breaks through the membrane of the ovary, The little fingers of the oviducts close about the ovary and receive the little egg, which then enters the tiny mouth of the oviduct and is conveyed through its small cavity to the womb. The location and function of the womb and vagina. The womb, or uterus, is located midway between the ovaries on the right and left, and between the bladder in front and the rectum behind. The ovaries and the womb are supported near the center of the abdomen by means of cords and muscles stretched across from the walls of the abdomen. The womb is a pear-shaped muscular organ with a small end pointing downward, and in a matured woman is 3 inches in length, 2 inches in width, and with walls 1/2 inch thick. The cavity of the womb is small and has 3 openings, 2 near the top leading into the oviducts and 1 at the bottom opening into the vagina. It will be seen from the cut that the lower end of the womb dips into the upper end of the vagina about 1 inch. This part of the womb is called the os uteri, or mouth of the womb. The vagina in a grown woman is from 4 to 6 inches in length, a firm but very elastic tissue. It aids in holding the womb in position, serves as a passageway for the menstrual fluid to pass from the body, and has other purposes that will be mentioned in another chapter. The breasts. The form and position of the breasts, or mammary glands, being known to you, it is not necessary for me to describe them here. Through the nerves, they are closely related to the other sexual organs. With the approach of puberty, they make considerable growth. However, it is not common for a girl's breast to develop to any considerable size before she is married. When she becomes a mother, the hundreds of tiny glands in her breasts form milk from her blood with which to nourish her child. The creative energy. From the dawning of puberty, all through life, day and night, asleep and awake, the breasts and other sexual organs are generating an energy that is being distributed throughout her entire being. It is this energy that helps to develop the girl into perfect womanhood. If the breasts and ovaries of a small girl could be painlessly and skillfully removed without injury to any part of her body, she would not develop into perfect womanhood in other respects. This experiment proves that these organs are secreting an energy that is necessary in developing and maintaining an ideal womanhood. Information concerning the external organs. The word vulva is the name of the lower external female organs of sex. It is composed of the following parts. 1. The labia majora are the outer and larger lips or folds. 2. The labia minora are the smaller and more concealed lips. 3. The mons veneris is the prominent eminence formed by fatty tissue situated just in front and above the labia majora. 4. The hymen is a very thin membrane which partly closes the opening to the vagina. 5. The clitoris is a small organ of an erectile structure and is the site of passion in the female. This organ is situated near the upper and front part of the opening into the vagina and between the folds of the labia minora. Connected with this organ is a small tough membrane or ligament called the frenum, which corresponds to the frenulum of the male. Sometimes, though rarely, this is short and tight or broad and hooded. When this is the case, the parts become irritated at times, causing sex consciousness and passion. And when it does, the girl will rub or scratch these organs. If she does this, often she will become conscious of a sense of pleasure. She will then handle the organs for the purpose of producing this pleasure. In this way, a girl will learn a vicious habit, the nature and effects of which we will study in another talk. While only a few girls have this trouble, it is very necessary that the causes be removed. Should you find yourself frequently rubbing these organs, you should speak to mama about it. Confidential advice. In the mucous membrane of these external organs of sex are thousands of little glands that secrete a foul, filthy substance called smegma. If this is not removed frequently with a damp cloth, it will irritate these organs and produce an offensive odor. If you should discover that you are frequently scratching those organs or have an unnatural feeling, you should consult your mama for advice. Your health, happiness, life, and character are, to a considerable extent, based on these organs being natural and normal.